His body was never recovered, but his camera told a terrifying story. 4 months after experienced hiker Daniel Morrison vanished without a trace in Olympic National Forest. A trail camera captured footage that would change everything we thought we knew about what lurks in our wilderness. The infrared video shows a massive bipedal creature, standing over 8 feet tall, moving through dense forest with calculated purpose. But it's what the creature carries that makes this footage so disturbing. Morrison's distinctive backpack, complete with his signature orange duct tape repair, dangles from the creature's massive hand like a child's toy. The pack that search teams never found. The pack that disappeared along with Morrison on that September night. But here's what makes this footage truly chilling. The creature doesn't treat the backpack like random debris or scavenged material. It handles it deliberately, carefully, as if it understands exactly what it represents. Do you think a wild animal could be intelligent enough to understand how human rescue technology works? Daniel Morrison was exactly the kind of hiker who shouldn't disappear. At 34, he'd spent 15 years exploring the Pacific Northwest's most challenging terrain. His planned 3-day solo trek through Olympic National Forest in September 2023 was routine by his standards. Morrison carried professional-grade gear, including the distinctive blue and gray backpack that would later prove crucial to this investigation. The pack bore unique identifying features: a faded Patagonia logo, a torn left shoulder strap he'd repaired with bright orange duct tape, and hiking patches from previous expeditions. On September 15th, Morrison's final GPS ping placed him at Chandler Lake. His last communication came at 6:30 p.m. "Made good time, weather holding, see you Sunday." He never sent another message. When Morrison failed to return, a massive search operation launched. They deployed helicopters with thermal imaging, tracking dogs, and technical rescue specialists. They searched 40 square miles of forest, and they found absolutely nothing. Thermal imaging can detect a human body from 1,000 feet away. Tracking dogs can follow a scent trail days old. Yet Morrison had simply vanished, not lost, not injured somewhere waiting for rescue, gone, as if the forest had swallowed him whole. Let that sink in. The most advanced search technology available found nothing. That's not a missing person case. That's evidence of something we don't understand. 4 months later, wildlife researchers checking trail cameras discovered footage that would change everything. Camera 47, positioned 3 miles from Chandler Lake, had captured something extraordinary on October 17th at 3:47 a.m. In the infrared footage, a massive bipedal figure moved through the frame with deliberate purpose. But it was what the creature carried that made researchers' blood run cold. Morrison's distinctive blue and gray backpack, complete with orange duct tape repair and hiking patches. There was no doubt they were looking at Daniel Morrison's missing equipment. Morrison's sister Sarah was contacted within hours. When she saw the footage, her identification was immediate and certain. The backpack's distinctive features, the orange duct tape repair, the arrangement of hiking patches, all matched her brother's gear exactly. But how had it gotten there? And what was this massive creature doing with it? The timeline raises disturbing questions. Morrison disappeared on September 15th. The creature was filmed with his pack on October 17th. That's 32 days. For over a month, this creature had possession of Morrison's equipment. It wasn't random scavenging. It wasn't chance discovery of abandoned gear. This was evidence retention by something that understood the significance of what it carried. The location adds another layer to the mystery. Camera 47 was positioned along a game trail used by elk during their autumn migration. The area sees minimal human traffic, especially in October when weather conditions become challenging for recreational hiking. Yet the creature chose this specific location to transport Morrison's pack. Not a random path through the forest, but a deliberate route that avoided areas where humans might discover the evidence. The creature's timing was equally calculated. 3:47 a.m. represents the deepest part of night, when visibility is minimal and human activity is non-existent. The creature moved Morrison's pack under cover of darkness, ensuring its activities would remain undetected. Wildlife researchers had been studying elk migration patterns in this area for 3 years. In all that time, they'd never captured footage of anything remotely similar to what appeared on camera 47. This wasn't a known animal exhibiting unusual behavior. This was something entirely different. Something that understood evidence disposal. When we analyze the trail camera footage frame by frame, the creature's enormous size becomes undeniably clear. Standing upright, the creature's head reaches approximately 8.5 feet above ground level. But here's what's truly unsettling. The creature isn't even at full extension. Its knees are slightly bent, shoulders hunched forward in a natural walking position. If this being were to straighten completely, its height would likely exceed 9 feet. The surrounding Douglas fir trees provide perfect scale references. These trees, common throughout Olympic National Forest, have known growth patterns that allow us to calculate precise measurements. The creature's head reaches the same height as branches we know to be 8 to 9 feet off the ground. But height is only part of the equation. The creature's shoulder width spans nearly 4 feet across. This isn't the lean build of a basketball player stretched to unusual height. This is massive, powerful bulk distributed across a frame that dwarfs human proportions entirely. Morrison's backpack provides another crucial size reference. Morrison carried a standard 65-liter hiking pack, measuring roughly 30 inches tall and weighing approximately 45 pounds when fully loaded. In the creature's massive hands, this substantial pack appears almost toy-like. The creature holds it effortlessly with one hand, the same way you might carry a briefcase. Watch how the creature moves through the forest. Its stride length is extraordinary. Each step covers approximately 6 to 7 feet of ground, compared to an average human walking stride of roughly 2.5 feet. This creature's casual walking pace covers more than twice the distance with each step that Morrison could manage at his fastest hiking speed. The weight implications are staggering. Based on the creature's visible muscle mass and bone structure, we're looking at an estimated body weight between 600 and 800 pounds. Yet it moves through the forest with remarkable silence and control, demonstrating not just size, but incredible physical coordination. When it steps over a fallen tree trunk, the motion is controlled and deliberate. There's no stumbling, no awkward maneuvering around obstacles. This being is perfectly adapted to forest navigation despite its enormous size. The creature's arms present perhaps the most striking anatomical feature. When it reaches forward to navigate through the trees, its fingertips extend nearly 5 feet from its shoulder. The arms hang well below normal human proportions, giving the creature an almost ape-like silhouette, but at a scale that exceeds any known primate. The hands themselves appear remarkably human-like, but scaled up dramatically. The fingers show dexterity and control as they grip Morrison's backpack. The thumb opposition is clear, indicating the ability to manipulate objects with precision. This level of physical development suggests we're dealing with something far beyond a simple large animal. When we compare the creature to known animals that might create similar footage, nothing matches. A standing black bear reaches approximately 6 feet in height and weighs 300 to 400 pounds maximum. This creature towers over those dimensions by at least 2 feet and likely doubles the weight. A grizzly bear, even the largest specimens found in Alaska, cannot achieve the height or proportions we see in this footage. The creature's posture and movement patterns rule out any possibility of misidentification. This being walks upright consistently, with a bipedal gait that no known North American wildlife exhibits. The arm swing, the stride pattern, the way it navigates obstacles, all indicate a creature built specifically for upright locomotion. This isn't a bear occasionally standing on its hind legs. This is a being whose entire anatomy is designed for bipedal movement. Most disturbing is the creature's obvious comfort in this environment. This isn't an animal struggling to move through unfamiliar terrain. Every step suggests intimate knowledge of the forest. The creature knows exactly where to place its feet, which branches will support its weight, how to move efficiently through dense vegetation. So, here's what I want you to consider. If a creature this intelligent exists in our forests, how many hikers do you think have disappeared without explanation? Don't answer yet. Keep watching. The evidence gets worse. The way this creature handles Morrison's backpack reveals intelligence that goes far beyond animal behavior. This isn't scavenging. This isn't random interaction with human objects. What we're witnessing is calculated evidence disposal by a predator that understands the significance of what it's carrying. Morrison's backpack shows no signs of violent removal. There are no tears in the fabric, no claw marks, no damage consistent with an animal attack. This pack was removed carefully, not ripped from a victim during a struggle. The creature grasps the backpack deliberately by the top handle, the same way a human would transport luggage. It doesn't drag it or treat it as prey. This is calculated handling of an object the creature understands has significance. We're not watching mindless animal behavior. We're watching evidence disposal. But the most disturbing revelation comes from analyzing what's missing from the pack. Morrison was a meticulous hiker who documented his gear religiously. His sister Sarah provided investigators with detailed inventories of what her brother carried on every expedition. Before I tell you what, pause for a second and think. If you were a predator trying to hide evidence of a kill, what human devices would you remove first? The creature's answer is chilling. Morrison's GPS device is missing. His emergency beacon is gone. His satellite communicator has been removed. These are specifically the pieces of technology that would have allowed Morrison to call for help or be tracked by rescue teams. The creature didn't just know these devices existed. It understood their function well enough to identify them as threats. It has done this before, and it will do it again. Morrison's water bottles remain in their side pockets, easily visible in the footage. His sleeping bag is still strapped to the bottom of the pack. Personal items appear undisturbed. The creature selectively removed only the items that posed a threat to its concealment. Think about the implications. This creature understands the difference between a water bottle and a GPS device. It knows that emergency beacons summon rescue teams. It recognizes satellite communicators as threats to its security. This level of technological awareness requires extensive observation of human behavior. The creature has watched hikers use these devices. It has seen rescue operations deploy in response to emergency signals. It has learned through experience which pieces of human equipment can compromise its hunting activities. The timing adds another layer to this calculated behavior. The footage shows the creature moving through the forest 2 days after Morrison's disappearance. During those 2 days, search and rescue teams were actively combing the area. The creature waited until the initial search intensity decreased before disposing of the evidence, demonstrating awareness of human search patterns that goes far beyond animal instinct. Watch the creature's grip on the backpack. Those massive hands could easily crush the pack entirely, yet it maintains careful control throughout its journey. The creature adjusts its grip when navigating through dense vegetation, ensuring the pack doesn't snag on branches or tear on obstacles. This isn't the behavior of an animal treating the pack as food or plaything. The creature's route selection reveals additional strategic thinking. Rather than following established game trails where other animals might encounter the evidence, it chooses a path through dense forest that minimizes the chance of discovery. The route avoids clearings where aerial searches might spot the pack, instead staying under canopy cover that provides concealment from above. The pack's placement in the final footage frame suggests the creature is moving toward a specific destination, not wandering aimlessly. The deliberate pace, the confident navigation through challenging terrain, the careful protection of the pack during transport, all indicate the creature has a predetermined disposal site in mind. This level of planning requires the creature to think several steps ahead. It must consider where the pack will be least likely to be discovered, how to transport it without damage, and when to move it for maximum concealment. These are complex cognitive processes that indicate intelligence comparable to human reasoning. The creature's technological awareness extends beyond simply recognizing dangerous devices. By leaving harmless items like water bottles and clothing while removing only electronic equipment, the creature demonstrates understanding of how different objects function. It knows that GPS devices reveal locations, that emergency beacons summon rescue teams, that communication devices can transmit distress signals. This knowledge base represents accumulated experience from multiple human encounters. The creature has learned through observation and experimentation which human devices pose threats to its security. It has developed systematic protocols for neutralizing these threats while disposing of evidence in ways that prevent discovery. Morrison's pack reveals we're dealing with an apex predator that has studied human behavior extensively and developed countermeasures specifically designed to hunt us while avoiding detection. The creature's methodical approach to evidence disposal reveals intelligence that should terrify anyone who ventures into the wilderness. This isn't random animal behavior. This is a systematic cleanup operation conducted by a predator that understands exactly how human investigations work. Let's examine what happened in the hours immediately following Morrison's disappearance. While search teams were organizing their initial response, the creature was already executing a carefully planned evidence elimination protocol. First, the creature disabled Morrison's tracking technology. The GPS device that had been pinging regularly every 15 minutes went silent at 11:47 p.m. But here's what's disturbing. The device didn't just malfunction or run out of battery, it was deliberately destroyed. Morrison's sister confirmed that her brother always carried backup power sources and that his GPS unit was virtually indestructible under normal circumstances. The emergency beacon tells an even more chilling story. These devices are designed to activate automatically under specific conditions: sudden impact, prolonged immobility, or manual activation. Morrison's beacon never transmitted a distress signal. For that to happen, the device would have had to be disabled before Morrison was in a position to use it. Think about the timing required for this level of technological sabotage. The creature had to identify, locate, and neutralize multiple electronic devices within minutes of the initial attack. This suggests the creature has developed a systematic approach to human technology, prioritizing the elimination of communication and tracking devices before victims can summon help. The creature's knowledge of human search protocols becomes evident when we analyze its post-attack behavior. Rather than immediately disposing of Morrison's remains and equipment, the creature implemented a waiting strategy that demonstrates sophisticated understanding of how rescue operations unfold. Search and rescue teams follow predictable patterns. Initial response focuses on the victim's last known location. Search radius expands systematically over time. Aerial reconnaissance concentrates on open areas and established trails. Ground teams follow natural corridors and water sources. The creature waited 48 hours before moving Morrison's pack. Why? Because those first 48 hours represent peak search intensity. Helicopters were flying constant patterns. Ground crews were covering every accessible trail. The forest was saturated with human activity. But the creature understood that search teams create noise and distraction. While helicopters thundered overhead and rescue workers shouted Morrison's name through the forest, the creature moved undetected. The search operation itself provided cover for evidence disposal. This timing reveals something truly unsettling. The creature doesn't just avoid human detection. It actively exploits human behavior patterns to its advantage. It has studied how we respond to missing persons. It knows when we'll be looking, where we'll be looking, and how to use our own search efforts against us. The disposal location demonstrates even deeper strategic thinking. The creature placed Morrison's pack 2.3 miles from his last known GPS coordinates. This distance isn't random. It represents the outer boundary of standard initial search radius used by most rescue teams during the critical first 72 hours. The creature knew that search teams would establish a perimeter around Morrison's last known location. It calculated exactly how far beyond that perimeter it needed to move the evidence to ensure it wouldn't be discovered during the most intensive phase of the search operation. But the creature's intelligence extends beyond simple distance calculations. The specific route it chose avoided not just established trails, but also the natural corridors that search teams typically follow when expanding their search radius. Stream beds, ridge lines, and game trails, all the obvious paths that humans use to navigate wilderness terrain. The creature understood that search teams think like humans. We follow paths of least resistance. We check obvious locations first. We assume missing persons will behave predictably. The creature exploited every one of these assumptions. Consider the seasonal timing of the pack disposal. October represents a transition period in the Pacific Northwest. Weather becomes unpredictable. Daylight hours shorten dramatically. Recreational hiking activity drops to minimal levels. The creature chose the optimal time of year for evidence disposal, when the chance of accidental discovery was lowest. This level of environmental awareness suggests the creature has been operating in these forests for years, possibly decades. It has observed seasonal patterns in human activity. It knows when hikers are most active, when search operations are most likely to occur, when the forest will be empty and safe for its activities. The creature's patience reveals perhaps the most disturbing aspect of its intelligence. It held Morrison's pack for over a month before final disposal. This wasn't impulsive behavior driven by immediate need to hide evidence. This was calculated planning that considered multiple variables: search intensity, seasonal changes, weather patterns, and human activity levels. We're dealing with an apex predator that has turned human hunting into a precise science. To understand what we're dealing with, we need to examine how this creature's behavior compares to documented apex predator strategies in the wild. What we're seeing isn't fantasy. It's the application of proven predator intelligence at a scale we've never encountered before. Mountain lions provide our closest behavioral parallel. These apex predators consistently cache their kills in concealed locations, often dragging prey up to half a mile from the kill site to prevent scavenging by bears, wolves, and other competitors. They understand that leaving evidence at the attack location attracts unwanted attention and compromises future hunting opportunities. The creature's disposal of Morrison's pack follows this exact pattern, but with a crucial difference. Mountain lions hide kills from other animals. This creature hides evidence from humans. It has identified us as the primary threat to its hunting success and developed countermeasures specifically designed to avoid human detection. Leopards demonstrate even more sophisticated evidence management. In Africa, leopards routinely drag kills weighing up to 200 pounds into trees, sometimes climbing 40 feet above ground, to cache prey beyond the reach of lions and hyenas. This behavior requires incredible physical strength, combined with strategic thinking about competitor behavior patterns. But leopards go further. They systematically remove evidence from kill sites, carrying away bones, hide, and other remains that might attract scavengers or alert prey animals to danger. A leopard kill site, after the animal has finished feeding, shows virtually no trace of what occurred there. The creature's technological awareness mirrors this behavior perfectly. Just as leopards remove physical evidence that might compromise future hunts, this creature removes electronic evidence that might summon human rescue teams. Both species understand that successful predation requires eliminating traces that could interfere with continued hunting success. Bears provide insight into the creature's territorial awareness. Grizzly bears demonstrate remarkable understanding of human search patterns, actively avoiding areas during periods of high human activity. Research in Yellowstone and Glacier National Parks shows bears altering their movement patterns in real-time response to human presence, often moving kills to locations where human interference is unlikely. The creature's 48-hour waiting period before moving Morrison's pack demonstrates this same tactical awareness. It monitored human search activity and timed its evidence disposal to avoid detection, just as bears time their movements to avoid human contact. Wolves reveal perhaps the most disturbing parallel. Pack hunters develop systematic approaches to prey elimination that include post-kill protocols designed to minimize detection by competing predators. Wolves will scatter remains across wide areas, ensuring no single location contains enough evidence to attract sustained attention from bears or human investigators. The creature's selective removal of Morrison's tracking devices follows this dispersal strategy. By separating technological evidence from physical remains, the creature ensures that even if one element is discovered, investigators cannot reconstruct the complete picture of what occurred. Research on apex predator intelligence consistently demonstrates that successful hunters develop learned behaviors that improve over time. They study prey patterns, identify vulnerabilities, and refine their techniques through experience. The most effective predators are those that can adapt their strategies based on changing conditions and new threats. This creature has done exactly that with human prey. It has studied our technology, our search patterns, our behavioral responses to missing persons. It has identified our vulnerabilities and developed systematic approaches to exploit them while avoiding detection. The sophistication of evidence disposal we're witnessing represents the culmination of years, possibly decades, of learning and refinement. This creature has practiced these techniques repeatedly, improving its methodology with each human encounter. We're not dealing with an animal that stumbled upon successful hunting strategies by accident. We're facing an apex predator that has systematically studied human behavior and developed scientific approaches to hunting us while remaining undetected. The question isn't whether this creature exists. The question is how many others like it are operating in our wilderness areas, applying these same proven predator strategies to human prey. Based on the evidence we've analyzed, we can now reconstruct Daniel Morrison's final hours with chilling precision. Morrison reached Chandler Lake at 4:15 p.m. on September 15th, exactly as his GPS data indicates. His final text to Sarah at 6:30 p.m. confirmed he was setting up camp for the night. But something was already watching him from the tree line, something that had been tracking his approach for hours. The creature's selection of Chandler Lake as a hunting ground wasn't random. Analysis shows the location sits at a natural territorial boundary, a ridgeline that overlooks multiple trail systems. From this elevated vantage point, the creature can observe hikers approaching from 3 different directions, making it a perfect ambush location. Morrison walked directly into a carefully prepared kill zone. The location offers multiple tactical advantages that any apex predator would recognize. Complete isolation from main trail systems means no witnesses. Natural concealment positions in the dense cedar stands provide perfect cover for stalking. The terrain naturally channels hikers into predictable camping areas near the lake's eastern shore, where Morrison chose to set up his tent. The creature had likely used this location before, studying how humans behave when they reach the lake. Morrison's evening routine would have been entirely predictable to an experienced predator. Setting up his tent, filtering water from the lake, preparing his meal, organizing gear for the next day. Each activity created noise and distraction that masked the creature's final approach. But here's what makes this reconstruction so disturbing. The creature didn't just wait for an opportunity, it created one. Morrison's GPS device continued transmitting his location every 15 minutes throughout the evening. The data shows he remained stationary at his campsite from 6:30 p.m. until 11:47 p.m. Then the signal stopped. Not gradually, not due to battery failure. It stopped instantly, indicating the device was physically destroyed. The timing of the attack reveals the creature's sophisticated understanding of human vulnerability cycles. Morrison would have been in his sleeping bag by 11:47 p.m., effectively immobilized and blind in the darkness. Unlike the creature's perfect night vision adapted for nocturnal hunting, Morrison would have been unable to detect movement in the surrounding forest. His GPS kept working until 11:47 p.m. Then it stopped, completely. No signal, no trace. The attack happened in seconds. But here's what's truly terrifying. The creature knew exactly when to strike. It knew Morrison would be in his sleeping bag. It knew which devices to disable first. It knew how human rescue teams search. This wasn't a random attack. This was calculated, methodical, practiced. Think about that for a second. Morrison was an experienced hiker. He had the best gear. He had emergency devices, and none of it mattered. The creature was smarter, faster, more prepared. How many other hikers do you know who think they're safe in the wilderness? The physical dynamics of the attack would have been devastating. Morrison's 175 pounds presented no resistance to a predator weighing 600 to 800 pounds. The creature's 8-foot reach allowed it to strike from outside Morrison's defensive range, probably crushing his skull or spine with a single blow. He never had a chance to reach his emergency beacon, never had time to call for help. The encounter was over before Morrison even understood what was happening. After the kill, the creature's behavior became methodical and calculating. Rather than feeding immediately, it prioritized evidence elimination. The systematic removal of tracking devices shows the creature understood that these items could lead searchers to the kill site. This represents sophisticated cause and effect reasoning that goes far beyond animal instinct. The creature's knowledge of Morrison's equipment reveals extensive prior observation of human hikers. It knew exactly which devices posed threats to its security and which could be safely ignored. GPS units, emergency beacons, and satellite communicators were removed and destroyed. Water bottles, sleeping gear, and clothing were left untouched. This reveals a predator that has turned human hunting into a precise methodology. It has studied our behavior, learned our weaknesses, and developed systematic approaches to eliminating evidence of its activities. We're not looking at an animal that occasionally encounters humans. We're looking at a predator that has specialized in hunting us. And if this creature has perfected these techniques, how many other hikers have disappeared without explanation? The evidence suggests Morrison's death wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of a systematic territorial marking strategy that reveals this creature operates according to apex predator protocols we've never seen applied to human prey. When we map the disposal location of Morrison's pack against known missing person cases in the Olympic Peninsula, a disturbing pattern emerges. The creature didn't randomly dump the evidence. It placed Morrison's pack at a precise territorial boundary marker, sending a clear message about the limits of its hunting domain. The pack was discovered exactly 2.3 miles from Chandler Lake, positioned at the intersection of 3 major trail systems. This isn't coincidence. This is deliberate placement designed to establish territorial boundaries through evidence display, exactly like wolves marking territory with scent posts or bears leaving claw marks on trees. But this creature uses human remains as boundary markers. Analysis of the Olympic Peninsula's missing person database reveals a chilling geographic pattern. Over the past 7 years, 11 hikers have disappeared in areas that form a rough circle around Chandler Lake. Each disappearance occurred within a 12-mile radius of Morrison's last known location. The creature isn't just hunting randomly, it's operating within defined territorial boundaries. The spacing between disappearance sites follows classic territorial marking patterns observed in large carnivores. Mountain lions establish territories ranging from 8 to 15 miles across. Grizzly bears claim territories up to 20 miles in diameter. This creature's apparent territory falls within those parameters, suggesting it follows established apex predator territorial protocols. But here's what makes this territorial behavior truly disturbing. The creature appears to be expanding its range. When we plot the disappearances chronologically, the pattern shows systematic territorial expansion over time. Early disappearances clustered near Chandler Lake. More recent cases occurred progressively farther from the original center, suggesting the creature is claiming additional hunting grounds as its confidence and experience grow. Morrison's pack serves as the newest territorial marker, placed at the current boundary of the creature's expanded domain. It's a warning to other potential predators and a claim marker establishing ownership of new hunting territory. The creature's use of human equipment as territorial markers demonstrates sophisticated understanding of how evidence functions in human society. Just as wolves leave scent marks that communicate territorial claims to other wolves, this creature leaves human artifacts that serve as warnings to potential competitors. The pack's placement at a trail intersection ensures maximum visibility to anyone entering the territory. Hikers approaching from 3 different directions would potentially encounter Morrison's equipment, though the creature calculated the disposal location to minimize actual discovery while maximizing territorial coverage. This territorial marking strategy explains why search teams never found Morrison's remains. The creature likely moved his body to a central cache site within its core territory, similar to how leopards maintain feeding sites in secure locations. The pack was separated from the body specifically to serve as a boundary marker, while keeping the primary evidence secure. The timing of the pack disposal reveals additional territorial considerations. October marks the beginning of winter conditions in the Olympic Peninsula, when hiking activity drops dramatically. The creature chose this period to establish new territorial boundaries when human interference would be minimal. This seasonal awareness demonstrates long-term territorial planning. The creature understands that territorial expansion requires careful timing to avoid detection during the establishment phase. It waits for optimal conditions before claiming new hunting grounds. The implications are terrifying. If this creature is systematically expanding its territory through human predation, it's not just hunting for sustenance. It's hunting for territorial control, using human deaths to establish dominance over increasingly large areas of wilderness. Each missing hiker represents another territorial marker, another boundary stone in an expanding empire of predation. Morrison wasn't just a victim. He was a territorial acquisition, his death serving to expand the creature's hunting domain into previously unclaimed wilderness areas. We're not dealing with random predation. We're witnessing systematic territorial conquest using human prey as boundary markers. Morrison's pack reveals the terrifying truth about what lurks in our forests. We're not the apex predators we think we are. Something else controls these wilderness areas, something that has studied us, learned our weaknesses, and perfected techniques for hunting us while remaining completely undetected. Subscribe now so you don't miss it, and drop a comment. Have you ever had an unexplained encounter in the wilderness?